Before we start this video, I just want to let you know that in the description there are links and places to donate to any of these places to help people out in need whilst there are wars and genocides going on. I really want to use my platform to get these out, even if it's just a small platform. So if you can just donate or even just share any of these, that would be much appreciated. Thank you. The albums released in 2025 have been crazy good. And with my album lists, I always kind of notice I get caught up with not listening or not putting in like certain acclaimed albums or popular albums of the year that I just didn't get to listen to or didn't come around to listening to. That whilst are really, really good, they kind of don't actually like represent what my year was with albums, which albums actually meant a lot to me, which ones kind of like defined my year. So yeah, just that little disclaimer. I did also find this ranking very hard as well because many of these albums felt on the very like same level, which obviously made it really, really hard to rank, but it also just goes to show how incredible this year was. I think it was incredible in the sense of a lot of the albums I like, I feel like went a bit under the radar. This is obviously just going to be a mix of personal great albums to me, no matter if they're critically acclaimed or not, and it really just reflects my year and how much fun I had. So these are just my opinions again. Don't be annoying if your favourite album's not on there. It doesn't mean I hate it in particular, I just probably haven't listened to it at all, or if I have, I probably still enjoyed it, just not as much as the other albums, which is fine. But I'd also like to hear what your favourite albums were of 2025, so yeah, let's go. In number 35, we have Blue Sky Mentality by Good Neighbours. This is such a great debut album from a group I've been following for a bit. I actually discovered them on the BBC introducing stage at Reading Festival in 2024. Never heard of them before. The first time I ever heard them was out in a festival, like the greatest experience ever, and I was hooked from there. It does take massive inspiration from late 2000s, early 2010s synth pop, and a bit of rock from bands like MGMT, and a lot of great melodies and catchy songs with nostalgic sounds. Standouts on this album being Ripples, People Need People and Suburbs. At number 34, we have Ive's Secret and Ive Empathy. I love Ive, clearly, and I really like their mini albums, and these two were really, really good, but I just couldn't pick which one to put over the other. I always love an Ive mini album, these are no different. Empathy feels more cozy and romantic, while Secret is a bit more chilling and a bit more mysterious. Standouts for me being Flu TKO from Empathy and Midnight Kiss, Gotcha Baddie and Heartbeat from Secret. Number 33, we have The Art of Loving by Olivia Dean. This is an album I got onto late in the year and was a steady climber, but I can easily see it being one of those albums that I absolutely adore in the future. I remember discovering it, I think October, November last year, on like a really just like rainy autumn day, and it just kind of really set the mood really well. It's just so beautiful, it's empathetic. It has got that kind of like old vintage sound to it, but it's something I feel like that's really, really needed. I think Olivia's voice is wonderful, she has this beautiful presence, and it just has such like a magical, wondrous feeling as well. Standouts being Man I Need, Easy to Fall in Love, Loud, all those songs, but there's also just, it's so good. I really like this album. 32, we have Girls Will Be Girls by ITZY. This mini album rocks, having a great electro-pop influence. Tracks like Kiss and Tell and Walk have amazing energy and sound. Locked and Loaded goes along with this great dystopian theme as well, Getting Ready for Battle, and Promise is always a beautiful song as well. And it's just such a strong outing from ITZY, showing their immense growth as a group. Number 31, we have Something Beautiful by Miley Cyrus. Even though it went under the radar, I couldn't pass on this brilliant album. This album is really at its best when you just listen to it from beginning to end. It takes you on a journey with all its interludes and transitions. It's a full story and heavenly experience. This album sounds otherworldly. Miley on the album cover looks like a creature from another world. As she talks about love and beauty on this album, for her to be and feel loved is to feel like a goddess, an unearthly creature who is beyond anyone else. I absolutely love the production on this album. It's so raw, it's powerful, and it's incredibly magical. My favourites on this album being Golden Burning Sun, Walk of Fame, and Every Girl You Ever Loved. Number 30, we have Bite Me by Renee Rapp. The sophomore album after Snow Angel, Bite Me is fierce and cunning as the title suggests. Renee has been such a fun character to watch as she's been unapologetically herself and doesn't hold back, but also gets real and vulnerable without it feeling fake. Her voice and emotional performance really stands out on this album, with Leave Me Alone, Mad, Kiss It, and At Least I'm Hot being that confident, snarky side. And then you have other songs like Good Girl, Why Is She Still Here, I Think I Like You Better When You're Gone, being the more vulnerable side. It's such a fun album, with my favourites being Kiss It, Sometimes, and Good Girl. It's crazy how fast this blew up and how it's now become a household name in pop culture, but for good reason. The songs are good and more importantly fun. Obviously the songs have such an important meaning as well in the film. Only do they have the K-pop staple with how they sound and how they're structured, they also have great musical theatre parts as well to characterise and drive the narrative of the story as mentioned. Obviously Golden is one of the biggest songs of the year and people have sung its praises for so long and it's very, very deserved. Same with Soda Pop, it's obviously incredibly catchy. It's got that fun double entendre being like, it's supposed to be a fun bubblegum boy group song, but if you listen closer to the lyrics, it's incredibly sadistic and obviously that goes with them being demons and trying to take the souls of humans. How it's done and Takedown shows like the best of kind of girl crush K-pop from like 2018 to 2020, so I feel kind of incredibly nostalgic for it and it's just as beautiful. Free is a beautiful sounding song as well, but for me the clear standouts of this album is Your Idol, a great dark concept for a boy group, such an amazing song as well. It's just incredibly sadistic, it's confident, it's almost like arrogant, and that's perfect. It's also just an amazing villain song. We haven't had a villain song like this in an animated movie in ages. I genuinely can't think about the last time we had a villain song this good, but it's What It Sounds Like, which is my favourite song of the entire soundtrack. It's so emotionally beautiful. It's soaring with revelation and most importantly self-love, accepting being not perfect, accepting your flaws, accepting that you can be not the perfect person ever, but also seeing that those flaws are what makes you human and what builds you as a person, and that's a beautiful thing. I do have so much adoration for the songs in this film and I'm just very happy with how much success it's having, and it just was such a blast. In number 28, we have the Little House EP by Rachel Chinariri. I feel like after last year's triumphant debut album, Rachel will be on my list every year with whatever she releases. Little House is a fun release, rather subtle and quiet, but peaceful in its nature as she transitions from one era to the next. It's also a study on love and the cozy and comforting stability it gives to you, acquainting it to a home and just feeling safe with it when you're finally in love. My favourites being Can We Talk About Isaac, 2342, and Little House. I love her music so much and Rachel is such a star. In number 27, we have Mixtape Dominate by Stray Kids. I love when Stray Kids do a small random release of songs just because they can, and Mixtape Dominate is another great venture into Stray Kids' discography. This was made in turn for the Dominate tour, and from my own experience, they are absolutely amazing. I also love how they're all unit songs, letting each member shine in their own way, but also playing off different dynamics in the group. All of them are my favourites, and hearing them live was an absolute dream. Number 26, we have Everyone's a Star by 5 Seconds of Summer. 5 Sauce are so back and I'm so happy. Fun fact, they were actually the first artist I ever saw in concert, so they'll always have a special place in my heart, and Everyone's a Star feels like such a natural progression and evolution for them that doesn't feel rehashed or a band feeling washed up. They go full on into the concept and the image they're portraying, and it's reflected in the album as well. It takes inspiration from the punk and grunge era as well as pop rock from today, and it just creates just such an enjoyable experience. My favourites on the album being Not Okay, Boy Band, Telephone Busy and Ghost. Number 25, we have the Eternal Sunshine Deluxe album by Ariana Grande. Eternal Sunshine on its own is already an absolutely beautiful album. That was one of my favourites of 2024, go check out that video. And the new songs on the deluxe album just elevates it. Twilight Zone, Warm and Hampstead create such a soft and comfortable feeling. Its production is light and quite peaceful. It's quite literally just feeling warm, and Ariana has this golden tone based on the known security and safety of knowing you're surrounded by loved ones and the ones you care about the most, and that feeling transfers onto the listener. Dandelion and Past Life have a more daring and confident approach. I love the brass instruments used in Dandelion's instrumental and Past Life's power and desperation as well. All these songs continue Eternal Sunshine's legendary run and are a great addition to the album. Spoiler alert, but this is my favourite film of 2025, and with one of its basic core themes, basically the entire narrative of the film, being about music, the history of black music in particular, and how black people have been the pioneers of so many musical movements and genres throughout history, creates such a spiritual and emotional story, mainly focusing on the blues and the culture during the 1930s as well. Also how it goes into depth with how so many other people, especially white people and colonial societies, co-opting and basically stealing doing this music and taking it for themselves and not giving any credit to any black artists or black culture for it, but how that kind of music never feels true or never feels real because it's missing the real soul and humanity to it. This music plays such an integral part of this film, as mentioned, with Sammy and his talent and the whole setting of the juke joint as well, that the music, both the lyrics, songs and score, create an important and immersive experience. The I Lied to You scene is out of this world amazing, an out of body experience, both listening to it and watching it on screen. The first time I ever saw this at the cinema, I knew there was a scene going to this film that was just like one of the greatest scenes, probably not just this decade or this century but ever in film. Songs like Rocky Way to Dublin, Pale Moon, Last Time I See the Light are all incredible tracks as well, and all the cast do such an amazing job bringing all these songs and music to life. Miles Caton, who plays Sammy, what an incredible actor and singer, and the fact that this is his first big film role is insane. He is so good. He better be booked and busy for the rest of his life. And of course, Ludwig Göransson's incredible mind and creativity with the soundtrack, of course. Once again, he creates magic, and his and Ryan Coogler's friendship and creative collaboration has always been amazing to see. This is very surface level reading of the film as well. There is so much more I could talk about. There's so much as sinners go into, which opens up so much, which is why it is such a brilliant film. And of course, the music and the entire soundtrack is such a core part of that, and it's amazing. If you haven't seen this film yet, go see it. Pink Pantheress is definitely up there as one of the most exciting artists currently today, and Fancy That is just pure joy throughout. She's built such a grand aesthetic and recognisable sound that she stands out on her own, and Fancy That shows how much she's evolved and has grown as well. Fancy That continues UK garage and electro pop music Pink is known for, but plays it up with fun lyrics and melodies. I also love the sampling she does in this album as well, where she makes it completely her own, so it doesn't feel derived or any sort of like unoriginal at all. Tonight, using the start of Do You Know What I'm Seeing by Panic at the Disco from their Pretty Odd album, I leapt out of my seat. I love that album so much. And Stars, sampling Stars in Their Eyes by Josh Jack, which, another fun fact, probably my favourite song at one point growing up. Other songs such as Illegal, Girl Like Me, Stateside and Romeo are also bangers, and that's not even getting into the fantastic remix album, which really does elevate the songs to such a different level in the best way possible. Shout out obviously Stateside featuring Zara Larsson, incredible. A truly fantastic time. This is such a beautiful, cohesive vision from Le Seraphim that truly shows their evolution with their music. There are no duds nor any song that feels forgettable or there just to flesh the mini album out. All these songs have a reason and important role on this album for the vision and listening experience. Born Fire is a mysterious opening, setting up the album perfectly. Going into Hot, which is just such a chill and floaty song, giving the best feeling of summer. Come Over is a sound not really heard from Le Seraphim yet. That is a bundle of fun, a dreamy new jazz song produced by the members of the band Jungle, which is great to have on. Ash is a real standout, being an incredibly personal and vulnerable song about pain and trying to get through it, and the production feels mournful and dreamlike, which just makes a song altogether. So Cynical is such a delicate song, but it's also full of hope and perseverance. This is such a wonderful mini album from the Seraphim, and I can't wait to hear what they bring out next, hopefully a full album.
Welcome. Press any key to start. Loading.
Another great mini album from ITZY. Again, this just feels elevated to a new height with how clean and intense the songs are. This has a great intro as well, very hyper and energetic, and leads greatly into the main track, Tunnel Vision. Tunnel Vision is matured ITZY to perfection. It feels confident like they haven't been before, and only comes to groups who have been in the industry for quite a while now. DYT, or Do Your Thing, Flicker and Nocturne are such amazing B-sides, again taking the best of ITZY, their powerful electronic pop and their more subtle synth pop as well, that adds to their discography. 8-Bit Heart is a true standout of this album, something very experimental and full of gumption and character that is a big swing for them but fully hits. It's so much fun to listen to every time with all the twists and turns it has. This is, as mentioned, a great mini album from ITZY, and it has such a great musical and sonic evolution to this discography, and it was just such a great time. This is a really good project from TXT. I love how each member gets a shine on this album with their solo tracks, as well as providing us with great new bangers in the discography. Upside Down Kiss is seductive, mischievous, and completely in control. A risque first track that hooks you in straight away, going into Beautiful Strangers, an electro-pop rock anthem full of yearning. Again, TXT's strength lies with their melodies. Really shine through here. Ghost Girl is a mysterious and quiet song from Yeonjun. It's very different sonically from his later mini album in the year, but shows his variety in what he can perform genre-wise, and I think it's just a great turn from him. It's got that, as mentioned, mysterious factor, but I love the kind of trap elements as well in the song. I just think it's a great tune for him. Sunday Driver was always my favourite from the get-go, and Subin's voice is dripping with warmth and something sweet as he whisks you away on this journey. Dance With You is a great turn from Kai, the acoustic guitar giving a great flair, and Kai's confident performance giving the right attitude to the song. Take My Half by Bomgyu continues the emotional pop rock sound from his debut Panic, and I love the song for him as well. It's so beautiful and his voice is absolutely stunning. Bird in the Night by Taehyun once again shows he's a vocal powerhouse, and I love the progression of the song and of course the melodies as well. Same with Song of the Stars, the OT5 song at the end. It's ethereal, and this type of magical and sentimental song is such a staple of TXT's discography, but it never feels old or run down. It reinvents itself every time to fit the concept or theme of the album, and this time it's no different. I really want to talk more about TXT and the music because it's so incredibly good, and this album feels like an incredibly important one where you can feel them evolve and grow, as they are now one of the most established and successful boy groups in the industry, and it feels like a good transitional period for them to explore even more of themselves as they go into their 7th year as a group, and I'm so excited to see what they do. 21 Pilots have been an artist I've been listening to for over 10 years at this point, and one of the first artists in a group of artists that I listened to that I really became a fan of, and I really also felt as like part of my identity. I did drop off over the years between Trench and Breach now, but Breach brought me back and I have enjoyed every second of it. Again, this album is really effective when you listen to it from start to end. Obviously, it's taking you on a journey with its soundscape and with what each song concludes with. Now, I don't know about any law about Clancy or any of that, and I'm sure there'll be better videos talking about it, but for me, I can still appreciate the storytelling and theme this album is telling without knowing the full lore. There are so many standouts on this album because I think it makes me nostalgic for 2016-2017 when I first got into 21 Pilots and I was listening to Vessel and Blurry Face and Self-Titled, and yes, even the original regional at best tracks, and the melodies and the progressions and the production on this album really captured that feeling again. But to choose some favourites, even though it's really hard, I will probably have to say The Contract, One Way, Garbage, Raw Fear, Days Lie Dormant, Downstairs, City Walls. There's so many. Also, I want to shout out Drag Path from the Digital Remains extra, even though I've literally only discovered it recently. This song is fucking amazing. Oh my god. I can't wait to revisit the other albums I've missed out on, and I'm just glad to see them back. I felt like my inner early teen was kind of healed, and I think I kind of needed that by going back to them, and I'm very happy with that. Right, so this is my veto in terms of that most people will look at this and be like, what the fuck? But to me, it means absolutely everything. I think I haven't made it a secret on this channel that I'm a big fan of Dan and Phil, but I don't think I've made it really that clear how deeply I've been a fan of them for so long. Basically, I've been a fan of them since 2014, and 11, almost 12 years later, I'm still here. They've been such amazing and important people to me for various reasons. They've been such a massive constant throughout my life, and being a fan of them post-hiatus, post the gaming channel coming back in October 2023, and especially in 2024 and especially 2025, it's just been so rewarding, and it's like being on the biggest constant high ever. So what is this album then? The Terrible Influence Tour soundtrack. Basically, it's the soundtrack from their latest tour, the Terrible Influence Tour from 2024 to 2025, and it's banger after banger. This was the first tour of theirs I have ever been to. I was basically waited 10 years to see them, and this just felt like such a homecoming for me. It was such a good day. So I already have a lot of sentimental attachment to this album already. Every time I hear tracks like The Mainframe, which is the score that opens the entire show, so every time I hear it I just get taken back to the start of it. Confessions, Conspiracy Iceberg, or even Fight Night, I'm, as mentioned, transported right back to that stage and those moments where I had the most fun I've ever had and created some of the best memories ever. Other tracks like Overpriced Ice Cream and We Are Seated and Go Piss Girl and Be Right Back are great tracks to also flesh out the rest of the stage show with its cohesive sound and energetic and fun character. The actual production of these songs as well are really, really good. They take all the similar to electro or the synth pop route, but they are also unique enough to have their own purpose and stand out on the album. It's also just a great listen to. Soundtracks like this are always great to listen to when I want to focus or I want to do some studying or writing, and they've always just been such a great time to listen to. Then you have Not an Apology, which goes right into the song Terrible. These other two songs are actually sung in the show and have lyrics. Dan and Phil have always had their novel songs at the end of their stage show. The Internet Is Here for the amazing tour Is Not on Fire, God, Interactive Introverts for the Interactive Introverts tour in 2018 as well, and Everything's Fine opening Dan's solo tour We're All Doomed, which is such a good show and ages so well every single day for all the good reasons, but it kind of feels daunting at the same time. But also in this day and age, God, is it more relevant than ever. So there's no surprise that these songs were going to appear in the tour. Not an Apology is a more quieter, simple start to the song. Dan parodies a certain apology video playing the ukulele as he and Phil set up the idea of how the parasocial relationship between an idol, celebrity and their audience goes both ways. If it was ever good or bad, were they a terrible influence on the audience, and where do we stand now? How has the audience grown over the years? What could we learn from our behaviours as well? Just talking about how both parties kind of contribute to that parasocial relationship either way. Terrible is a continuation of Not an Apology, but just in full electro pop glory, which then turns into a rave. Continue exploring parasocial relationships, especially how the fandom, which is the Dan and Phil fandom, was during peak time from like 2012 to 2018, and how we should address it and go about it now. It is in a comedic and satirical fashion. Terrible is a gimmicky song that isn't meant to be taken seriously, but also the lyrics and what they're about do have a lot of merit, and I think talks about the parasocial relationship between the celebrity and their fans. And honestly, I feel like it would be great to do a deep dive into this song for another video about parasociality, fandoms and all that. To be honest, any excuse to do a video on Dan and Phil I will take, and I could make a 10-hour video just talking about them and everything and the entire history, all of it, because that's what I love to do. But hey, who knows? This album for the tour just means so much to me personally. I had a great 2025, and Dan and Phil and this tour and the entire fandom and being a part of it just snowballed, just so many good things happening to me, and will always probably be the most important part of that year. But yeah, this is just giving me an excuse to talk about them and how much I love them and how much they mean to me, so yeah. This may be a smaller album, but it packs a massive punch. As mentioned in my comeback video, Do It and Divine shows the best of Stray Kids and how they cannot be defined by one sound, one genre, nor one word. Do It and Divine are so powerful on their own terms, about being confident in your identity and ability, breaking the mold and encouraging each other to go for it in life no matter what. Holiday is bittersweet. It has a nostalgic sound, talking about being so drained and burnt out from life that you just need to have a holiday. It really does reflect the non-stop activities Stray Kids have had to be doing the past couple of years, and the fact that they rarely ever get a long break. I really hope they do get like a long break soon and don't have to feel any burnout. Photo Book is a simple but beautiful song about memories and really letting your body pause for a second and feel the love for those close to you. Do It is just such a great mini album to close 2025 for Stray Kids. It feels like an extra bonus round you get when you complete a final level or get to the highest score in a game. Stray Kids being a self-produced group means they can just experiment with their sound and work and put anything out just because they can do it, and it will always be special in that sense. finally, an actual solo album for Joy with all original music, and it is utter bliss. The album title, From Joy with Love, is very intimate, like a gift or signing off a letter, and that kind of intimate and delicate touch also leads into the album aesthetic. It feels like a memory box or a scrapbook of items, photos and bits of writing and letters that you collect from a holiday or summer, and it makes it feel that extra bit more personal and intimate. Joy is confidently sharing her stories and experience. Love Splash is such a fun time, delicate with his pop sound, elegant and hits the right spot like the sun does. Get Up and Dance is a pop jam sound, like kind of like the best songs from like 2014, 2015, but it doesn't feel outdated either. Cuddle and Unwritten Page are magical ballads that let Joy's absolutely ethereal and elegant voice shine. The piano in the instrumental matches it so well. Central Green and La Vie en Bleu are underrated gems. I love Central Green, tying into Joy's signature colour, being green obviously, but it's light synth pop album that really truly feels like the heart of this album as well. Whilst La Vie en Bleu feels like the most chill and laid back song, the use of the la la la's and bossa nova sound to pinpoint the summer feel of this album as well. Joy's first album is purely filled with her personality. It's sonically and thematically cohesive, and the production of these songs, of course, is immaculate. I had so much fun with this. What a beautifully curated album. As mentioned in the comeback video, Chaeyoung's creativity and musical identity is really unique, especially in the K-pop industry, so this first album already stands out against most of her peers. This album, as mentioned, is just so beautifully cohesive. All the songs on it here are on kind of like the same wavelength when it comes to their own energy and vibes. The experimental sounds and the structure of the songs varying in length is what sets it apart as well and makes it such a unique and great experience to listen to. Chaeyoung has such a unique and delicate voice, meaning she can use it in such an interesting and exciting way. She uses harmonies really well, and I love how dreamy her voice and these songs sound all together, often atoning it to her amazing vocal performance. She knows what to give each song and knows how to create its character and what it means in this album as well. This album is pure vibes, it lets its sonic identity and soundscape do the talking, and it is addicting to listen to over and over again. Chaeyoung's unique musical identity is such a joy to experience, and I can't wait for volume 2. I've always been quite a casual fan of Dodie. I remember following her since around 2015-16, but I haven't tapped into her music for quite a bit. But when this new album came along, the concept and the album cover and the title just hooked me in, and with it also coming out in autumn, it gave me that kind of dark autumnal feeling that I am always looking for, and I'm glad I did check it out because it's such a brilliant album. I listened to the single I'm Fine when it came out. That single as well kind of drew me to the album because I absolutely love that song. This album confronts the complexities of moving from your 20s to 30s, not feeling like an adult yet and still feeling that pressure to know everything because you're 30, you're an adult, and this is when you're supposed to have your life together. The crushing weight of all this pressure and the expectations that you still would feel as a child, then a teen, then a young adult, but it just reinvents itself. I'm Fine, the single as mentioned, perfectly explains these anxieties. It's haunting, it's morbid. Other songs like The End, The List, Tall Kids also play on those anxieties as well, and there's some sort of morbid acceptance that it will always happen no matter what. Other tracks like Smart Girl, Darling Angel Baby, Hold Fire and I Feel Bad For You Dave and The Answer feel more kind of upbeat, but in a more ironic way. It's a little bit satirical, just kind of laughing at the situation you're stuck in and just accepting the morbidity and depressing aspect of it all, and just kind of saying fuck it and trying to live your life in some way or another, and not for lack of trying closing the album out in a cyclical manner, just after acknowledging everything that's going on, both good, bad and the in-between. And there's an acceptance that this cycle will always just be there in life. Dodie's elegant and quiet voice is still so incredibly expressive. She can perform with such strong emotions and then turn around into a quite humorous fashion as well. She is amazing, and this album really spoke to me and I enjoyed every second of it. At after 5 years since their first album, the Irene and Sulgi subunit is back with a vengeance, and a quest to tempt you into their world. Tilt is supposed to introduce the idea of going a little too far. How long can you push yourself before you fully let loose and embrace the innermost parts of your thoughts and feelings, the ones you repress deep in your mind? The title song Tilt obviously represents that the most. The lyrics push me so hard till I tilt, and repetitions of tilt afterwards taunting you to do the same. The dance pop song pushes and pulls the instrumental, the verses having a fast beat as it slows down into the pre-chorus and then bridge, the piano being centered for the dramatics as the chorus explodes with both the instrumental and vocals all together. Songs like Girl Next Door, Heaven, Irresistible and Trampoline continue with that push and pull effect, being seductive and tempting you to pull in with playful melodies and emotional vocal performances. I love Girl Next Door's powerful vocals in the chorus. I really think that Irene stands out on the track with her really powerful voice and character as well. Trampoline and Irresistible have the most fun. They're cheeky and incredibly nonchalant and are asking you to read between the lines, as then it's obvious what they want. Heaven is really the best of Red Velvet R&B though. It's dreamlike and totally seductive. It feels like the next evolution of Feels Good off their first album, and this is where Sulgi really stands out for me. Her beautiful voice just really carries the melody and vibe of the song. Of course, I'm going to love a Red Velvet project, and I'm so glad Irene and Sulgi are back and more powerful than ever, never putting a damper on how far they go or the power they have. With how dark and supernatural 28 Reasons went, it was surprising to see Sulgi completely flip it around for her next comeback and focus on a more cartoonish, camp and lighter tone. But it just goes to show how incredibly versatile she is. In saying that, I love how clearly empowered Sulgi is of her presence and sexuality here, and obviously this character in Accidentally on Purpose loves to play the chase in a very sadistic manner. Obviously, I've gone into how much I loved Baby Not Baby in the comeback video due to its playing of the cat and mouse relationship when the villain is doing all these bad deeds just to get the attention of the hero and to play and flirt with them. Again, she embodies the personality of Catwoman or Poison Ivy, a villainess like that really well, and obviously that is intentional. Better Days and Rolling With My Homies continue this fun and confident persona. Better Days has such a cool instrumental, playing with the electric guitar with a heavy beat, and Sulgi has so much fun with her voice on this, taunting the listener with every word whilst rolling with my homies. Just a fun and chill time, continuing that very freeing and liberating time that Sulgi has with her character. Weakness, Whatever, and especially Praying starts to open up Sulgi's more vulnerable side. I've got a weakness for you. Perhaps the playing of the push and pull is attracting both sides now, whilst Praying is a dreamlike heavenly experience, an R&B dream that makes you feel like you're floating again. It feels like the aftermath after the enemies to lovers. The rivalry has fully gotten together and how everything feels like a dream after it's happened. I love the narrative that plays through this album. The villain tempts the hero through silly and over-the-top means. There's a continued push and pull dynamic between them, which creates more intrigue. As they get closer, they start opening up more and actually start to feel a connection, even though they never admit it. And then the moment when they finally get together, and the moment afterwards, hitting that it actually happened and how low-key it's the best thing that's ever happened to them. I love Sulgi so much, of course, and Accidentally on Purpose is such a great continuation after her work on 28 Reasons. I'm always proud of her. I think this might be the most surprising release this year, because after her monumental rise in success in 2024, I was not expecting Sabrina to release another album this soon. I love how this album sounds. It's definitely more of a disco sound this time in songs like Tears and House Tour, but I also love the full country influence as well in songs like Man Child, Sugar Talking, Go Go Juice, Don't Worry I'll Make You Worry and Goodbye. But there's still subtle enough that it mixes with the good old pop Sabrina is really good at doing. I often think how Sabrina's music, sonically and how it sounds, especially on this album, kind of reminded me a bit of ABBA's, with its melodies, use of synths and the disco feel as well, which is why I think this album makes me feel quite nostalgic, and I get it straight away because there's something familiar and satisfying to how this album sounds. Of course, Sabrina's cheeky nature with her innuendos and overt sexual jokes and manner don't go away either, and I love it. Tears is beautiful. The disco influence with a brilliant music video referencing the Rocky Horror Picture Show, an iconic queer musical, that and Coleman Domingo being in this music video is the cherry on top. I love that man so much. I love the trifecta of My Man on Willpower, Sugar Talking and Nobody's Son. These are where I think the melodies of the song along with Sabrina's voice really shine through. They're absolutely golden. When Did You Get Hot, We Almost Broke Up Last Night, and Don't Worry, I'll Make You Worry is where I think Sabrina's talent and character and emotional performances really come through. She gets the job done, and there's a different story behind all these songs that you can imagine and get behind. House Tour is by far my favourite on the album. It's a perfect marriage of disco synths and just being so fun as well. It's obviously incredibly open with its sexual humour. I can take you to the first, second, third floor, and I promise that this is not all a metaphor. You damn know it is though, and that's what I like about her. Also lines that my house is on Pretty Girl Avenue, my house is especially built for you. It's so silly, and Sabrina always doesn't hold back with kind of these silly and simple lyrics because they're just so fun to sing, and they're always in the pop culture zeitgeist. People will remember these songs because of her lyrics, because they're so fun. It's not taking anything seriously, and it's a perfect part of Sabrina's brand and identity. This album I fully enjoyed from start to finish. I love how cohesive it sounds all together. No song is out of place, and it takes you on such a fun trip of wild experiences. I love it so much. We're now at the top 10, and you know it's an insane top 10 when I already feel bad for putting this album low down when it's still number 10, which is so good. NMIXX are one of the most exciting groups in K-pop right now due to their musical style, and as they have developed, their NMIXX pop sound continues to grow stronger and has a much cleaner identity. FE304 Forward is monumental with its experimental sound, and yet it doesn't feel disjointed or a mess at all. All the songs work seamlessly together and creates such a sonic marvel of an album. Know About Me is a great title track which plays with the instrumental speeding up and slowing down at different points. I especially love the bridge as the music goes all out with the amazing chanting in the back. The pre-release single High Horse has had its praises sung all through the year for good reason. It's ethereal. The members' vocals really shine here, especially with their control from belting out the pre-chorus and the bridge to bringing it back for the chorus and verses. It feels quite daunting and mysterious, but also peaceful and beautiful at the same time. Slingshot and Golden Recipe are the ones that could get lost in the sauce if they weren't played right, but thank God that they are just right. Slingshot plays with that full energy and mix perfect every time in their songs. It has that badass and confident character and really plays with its wording and lyrics to match the music and give it that extra layer. Golden Recipe is a whole load of madness that I love, from the distorted strings to the reverb sounds in the chorus. I understand why it might not work for some people, but it works really well for me. Then you have Papillon. Do I really need to say how magnificent this song is? It has a brilliant build up and structure. It creates such amazing tension that breaks with a smooth chorus, but its production is so clean and perfectly made that it really deserves to be known as one of the greatest B-sides of the time. Ocean does kind of fit the obligatory ending ballad song, but it goes that extra mile to separate itself from the boring expectation. It feels wide and expansive, and it feels like it's looking into the future with an ease and excitement. It has this techno magical feeling that perfectly closes such an experimental but mature album. It doesn't feel like NMIXX are the new weird kids on the block anymore. They're here to stay with their wacky and experimental nature. I think in a year where the music in K-pop was pretty good, but nothing stood out as much compared to other years, NMIXX made the right step and choices to differentiate themselves from the pack, and it was brilliant. Twice's fourth album, aptly named This Is For, might be their best album so far. There's something so sophisticated and evolved about this album that feels like their production and creative team locked the fuck in, that its quality and output feels 10 times better than anything else. As mentioned, the production is so clean on this album. Nothing feels unfinished or feels like it could be taken further. It has some of Twice's greatest B-sides and pop sounding songs ever. It's all so incredibly cohesive, but each song has such a great understanding of why it's there and its meaning to the group and this album. It explores such confidence in a way that attributes to Twice's growth growth and evolution into a mature group in their 10th year. 4 is a bombastic opener conveying the confidence that this album will write on, straight into This Is 4, which is a bubbly power anthem celebrating all the women in the world. I love a fresh sounding noughties take that doesn't feel dated but also perfect for the message of the song. Options is a serenade of romantic strings and angelic voices, talking about all the choices with love and not wanting to take a big step right away, teasing their lover a bit. Mars is a synth pop heaven, making use of the girls' great powerful vocals, and might be one of the greatest B-sides as well. These synths and these melodies and the fast pace of it is just so good. Right Hand Girl turns it around to be a little bit darker, a little bit sultry, taking it slow but letting you know that they will always be there. Hi Hello and Peach Gelatos show a lighter side to this album with the chill bossa nova and synth beats, making use of repetition and a characterized vocal performance to sell the song. The subunit songs are also brilliant and lets all the girls have a moment to shine, but also show how versatile they can be together with the different sounds and genres. Talk and Love Let Go being my favourite. Seesaw is also quite an underrated hit, mainly because I think it's a slow and quieter song that appreciates a more simple production. Twice have such different and unique tones that songs like Seesaw is where they shine. There's something very reminiscent about Seesaw that makes you appreciate the smaller moments in life in a way and makes you slow down a bit. Heartbreak Avenue is a sweet ending to a monumental album, and I just couldn't be prouder of Twice. Where they are in their career just feels like they're just getting started, even being a 10-year-old group, and they will always have that it factor forever, and this album proves that. I've been meaning to listen to FKA Twigs for the longest time, and finally I did, and Esexua is an experience like no other. This is truly best described as an audio-visual experience for the senses. It delves into your mind and rewires everything you know about how songs can sound, how they can be structured, and how they can just exist in the mind, and it's just an ethereal experience. Maybe it's a bit of baby's first experimental artist experience, but I don't care, I loved every second of it. Esexua can mean a lot of things. For me, it's the euphoric moment of when the two bodies collide and meet in a way where they feel intertwined together, nothing separating them at all, whether it be sexual or platonic. And the entire album captures that feeling with its production, its instrumentations, and Twigs' insane vocal performance as well. The album was also released at the start of the year, so it's one of those that has really stuck with me the most, and one that I've also listened to quite a lot compared to the others, so it has this special connection as well there. Songs like Esexua, Room of Fools, Keep It, Hold It and Drums of Death really capture this otherworldly feeling. Its beat changes all the time, going fast and slowing down as well as other instrumentals build in the background. It focuses on creating a feeling whilst Twigs sings about her desires and feelings. Wanderlust and Sticky and 24 Hour Dog take a more emotional turn but still have that experimental side as well. I love the softer vocals in Wanderlust, begging for something deeper and something more lustful. My favourites on this album though have to be Girl Feels Good, Striptease and Perfect Stranger. They grab me in a way and never let me go, just letting these sounds and beats completely fill my body and brain up to be exactly where they want me to be, either the feeling of being in a club with people, feeling that experience. I think Twigs uses her voice in such an interesting way, like it's another instrument with the very high notes she can hit, whilst the electronic sound uses that to its advantage as well. It's so good. And the lyrics as well, talking about wanting to meet people but not wanting to know them, and just like in Perfect Strangers, just being like, I don't care where you come from, I don't care about who you are, your background, let's just have this together tonight, we just don't have to see each other again. It's such an interesting experience that Esexua can be the most euphoric feeling ever, but also there's this feeling of loneliness that is left afterwards, which is also explored in the album as well. Esexua is definitely one of my defining albums of 2025, and it has just been an absolute pleasure to listen to every single time, and I can't wait to delve into more of Twigs' work. Lady Gaga is back after 5 years finally with her new album. Yes, I know there was a Harley Quinn album in 2024, but who really wants to remember Joker 2? I don't. Anyways, Mayhem is glorious and really is the best of Gaga and shows that even at this stage in her career, she will always continue to make career-defining music. The pre-release Disease and the main title track Abracadabra are just so incredibly Gaga. That's just the best way to describe it, but also incredibly involved as well, that it feels like a natural stage to where Gaga should be now, but also you can see the roots in from her earlier music as well. Disease is muddy and dark and disturbing. The dragging synths feel heavy and sticky. The rock aspects to the song adding that danger, and Abracadabra is just genius. It's too good it feels impossible to praise. I remember when it debuted, I think during the Grammys last year in 2025, and I think everyone like heard it for the first time. I was like, oh my fucking god, this is amazing, because it's so incredibly Lady Gaga. It's also a song that just feels like it was missed. This kind of sound, this kind of energy, this whole kind of style was just missed, because it's a style that really only Gaga can bring to the scene right now, and having that back was just so fun. It just feels like an absolute classic pop song for the ages. Its energy is just right, its structure and progression is just right. Gaga always delivers on the vocal performance, of course, and it just feels like, as mentioned, a pop hit for the ages. Other songs like Don't Call Tonight, Beast, Blade of Grass, How Bad Do You Want Me and Shadow of Man play with beautiful melodies and varied productions of synths, electric guitars, a simple piano, whilst Gaga describes all forms of being in love and how it can send you into a spiral in many different ways. But I think it's the first half of this album that really truly speaks to me. Garden of Eden sounds nasty in the best way, a true Gaga classic. Vanish Into You is a magnificent way to look at love, to be one with person saw your face in mine. I love that lyric so much. It's finally seeing you as yourself, because you're finally with that person who sees you as well. Killer is a sound that suits Gaga so well. This funky guitar riff that has some inspiration from, like, I want to say the 70s. It has a bit of like Prince in that kind of inspiration, I want to say. It's absolutely amazing, and I love how the song gives the instrumental time to shine at the end. It's just a whole load of fun. Zombie Boy has a great disco sound right from the 70s 80s era with a little bit of synth pop as well. It's a bunch of fun, and I just love the vibes of the song as well. Love Drug has that coarse power that just makes you feel every essence of it. Again, the electric guitars are just so powerful in the song, and I just really love it. And then you have Perfect Celebrity, which it's in its namesake. It's perfect, talking about a toxic relationship between fan and celebrity and how it can become a general parasitic relationship that the general public can have with that celebrity through like mass media, tabloids, social media, all that. I love the song's message, but the whole production, how angry, how abrasive it is, how incredibly passionate it is, what gets me so much. It's so incredibly catchy to sing, and the melodies are on point. I absolutely love everything about the song, and it's my favourite off the album. Yeah, what can I say? Gaga just killed it. I think overall a lot of people have also said how this is one of Gaga's best albums, if not maybe the best. Mayhem stands tall as this legendary pop album, and I'm so glad it happened as well. It's so good. Cat Burns is another artist I've always been hearing about for a bit now, and someone who I've also been wanting to listen to. I loved her collaboration even with Rachel Chinariri, and obviously acknowledging the big Traitor's Elephant in the Room, which was such a legendary series. Cat's new album, How to Be Human, was clearly the right time to get on board, and what I discovered was one of the most vulnerable and meaningful albums to me. I think what gets to me in this album is how grief and loss is explored, and how love and different romances and relationship mixes into that as well. Cat sings openly about losing her grandfather, and this album is the work from processing this immense loss. Clearly her grandfather was one of her biggest cheerleaders, and you can feel how close this relationship was throughout the songs. Come Home, the first song you hear on this album, you hear his voice at the start with Kat processing the moments before he passed with a family and what her grandfather was thinking at the time. The voice notes and recordings at the start of songs like Can Time Move Faster and All This Love are incredibly vulnerable, because these are what Kat was thinking in the moments. This is what she was saying. Songs like Can Time Move Faster, Sad Forever and All This Love really capture this grief and different reactions of loss the most. Can Time Move Faster talks about how people just tell you how you'll feel better in a couple of months and how this feeling of loss will pass, but someone telling you, oh, you'll be fine soon, it will pass, you'll feel better in a couple of months, doesn't really help in the moment. Why can't I just move forward to that time right now? Why do I have to be stuck here right now? I just want to be in that moment in 6 months' time and just heal completely. Sad Forever feels like that breakthrough moment when things start to feel a little easier and days start to feel a little lighter and you just have that right person with you. Her mum in the song says, you don't have to be sad forever, this too shall pass like the weather. The it'll pass, everything goes attitude finally feels like it's working, and it's a breakthrough in a way that life starts to make sense again. All This Love was one of my favourite songs when listening to the album for the first time, as it talks about processing grief and then turning it into love and sharing that love into different parts of your life. As she says in the song, grief is love with no place to go. So I've been going out more, being with my friends, I've just been enjoying the weather, just going outside. There's little things you can do that once your life stops due to grief and processing that, you kind of forget the little parts of life that made it in the first place. And once that healing process starts, things start to brighten up again a lot more after the process and journey of grief. And I love how Kat talks openly about this journey with her lyrics and how the song sounds. On the other hand, you've also got Kat coming to terms with a relationship, maybe more of a situationship that seems to fizzle out of nowhere. Small Talk, I Love You But and Today highlight this. In Small Talk, it kind of suggests that no, we can't small talk, we can't even speak. Why are we even trying to interact if you're not even going to acknowledge what happened between us? At the end of the Small Talk, we do hear another voice note from Kat, again emotionally saying it's like grieving someone who is still alive. That person who was close to you in this relationship now feels like a ghost, and it is this weird grief of having something right there then it is taken away from you. I Love You But is another part of the healing process, is that I do love you but we can't speak, we can't see each other as well because this is not going to help any of us. And Today is the moment of acceptance. You accept that this relationship is no more and what happened is no more, but you can start moving on with that. I like how these songs also understand the grief of a relationship ending. There is this cathartic acceptance and joy in songs like Wish You Well, which is a more upbeat song with a great, the lyrics say I can only wish you well over and over again because that's really all you can do. I can only wish you well because I don't think or care for you anymore. Then you do have the joyful parts of the album as well, like celebrating love and romance with women as well, excitement for loving your sexuality and being with the people you adore the most. Girls, There's Just Something About Her, Gemini, Lavender and When I'm With You are all such fun songs that capture those feelings of butterflies and excitement of being near that person. I love the production on these songs so much as it has that indie pop infusion, but you can see Kat's entire personality and experience shining through. Stuff like Gemini and Lavender really create such a magical and whimsical experience. When I'm With You is a much more slower song, but it's so calming. It really feels like you're finally at peace and you're finally at a place where you belong, where all this loss doesn't affect you anymore, that's in the past, and it is so healing as well. This is all concluded in the last song, How to Be Human, which is also the title of the album, and realistically what the journey and different experiences sung on this album has led to. Am I living correctly? Am I fitting in right? Am I in the right spot in my life? Of course there's no correct answers to these questions, but Kat has also talked about her experiences with her autism diagnosis and how her experiences with that and living with neurodivergence, always feeling left out and not understanding parts of social situation was correct to do because it's all just made up at the end of the day, but just wanting to fit in and really questioning if this matters at all. That is what kind of influences her thoughts and experiences here. She has just been so humanly open, talking about her experiences with grief and love, and that is enough, but also things shouldn't be measured up to what is enough or acceptable when Kat existing and having these real experiences are part of the human experiences, but the thought process and questions and anxieties shared on this song and throughout the album is something that resonates with me so deeply and has opened up about things that I didn't even realise myself, and this album was just so here for me in ways others haven't been. On top of that, Kat's voice is really beautiful on this song as well. She has this beautiful deep voice, but it's so gentle and warm, but also full of passion and emotion. She works so well with many different sounds and genres on top of the stellar production that perfectly sets the message and experience told in all the songs. There is so much more I can say about this album and how stunning it is, the journey it takes you on and making you feel all these emotions we've all lived as well. Please listen to it yourself because it really is a beautiful experience. This album is so carefully crafted and emotionally intelligent. Whilst Jin's first mini-album, Happy, was about celebrating the best joys and moments in life, Echo feels like it flips that completely on its head to look at the more challenging parts of life in love and relationships and just getting to the other side, persevering through the dark times, also acknowledging the pitfalls and pauses through that journey. Don't Say You Love Me is the acceptance that the love is over and begging the other person to stop even trying because it will just make the breakup hurt even more. It's a slow melodic song that stays at a middle pace that doesn't slow or gain any more energy at all. It's stagnant like the relationship, but there's something beautiful about the sadness conveyed. Nothing Without Your Love would feel misplaced on this album without intention, but it feels like a flashback to the relationship when it was happy. Nothing Without Your Love, as the title, feels like a desperate plea to someone to stay, saying how there's nothing to life without their love. But this sentiment seems to come from a time when this relationship was at its height. The hopeful and joyous sound in the instrumental and Jin's more energetic performance tells us this is truly the best, which makes the fall and breakdown of the relationship even worse. Loser and Rope It are really fun detours on this album. Loser, featuring Yella, comments on how stupid one can feel when in love and stupid actions taken when they feel in love as well. Taking the idea of the love fall and kind of putting that into the song as well, it kind of reminds me of coming of age film when the main character does something stupid to impress their crush and years later they reminisce on it as just completely stupid love. But there's something quite fun to that juvenile aspect you can't help but love anyway. Rope It is just a fun old camp time, taking country and line dancing influence. It takes you on a journey of confidence and just taking life on the lighter side. There's no point worrying about certain things. When people go low, we go high. We are not worrying, we are not paying attention, we are just having fun. No wonder Jin had so much fun performing this on tour. Then we have With the Clouds, a beautiful dreamy song with some of the craziest switch ups I've heard. I love its unpredictability and its grand musicality and dramatics as well. How it speeds up like it's trying to grab onto something or trying to argue its way out of a situation, to the pure explosive emotional parts that feel like one desperate cry for something else. There's so much that With the Clouds does. It changes emotions, it shows Jin's amazing emotional vulnerability and vocal range as well. Background has grown to be my favourite song off this album. It might be Jin's best song, both performance-wise and vocally as well. There are parts of the human psyche and deep in yourself Jin reaches to give this amazing performance and to understand what this song is saying. I think I remember seeing an edit of the song to the film Past Lives, a film that made me sob my eyes out at the end and made the song absolutely stand out for me. Maybe the lyrics may be in another place, another time, I remain like a lingering after image, I'll be here in the background. These suggest not only just to let the love go, but to also be forgotten by someone that you thought would be in your life forever, someone you thought you could never be separated from, for them now to feel like a stranger, and for you to mean nothing to them anymore is a different kind of heartbreak, like the loss of the person. Another way this could be looked at is knowing someone, perhaps even liking them or seeing a future with them at some point, but you slowly drift apart and you're only left with the what could have been, like what the film Past Lives is about. Two people knowing each other when they were childhood friends, perhaps seeing something more in the future, who get separated at some point and then reconnect in the future as adults. There's a lingering sense of, in another life we could have been together, perhaps in another life they were the one and you'd be happy with them. And there's a grief that comes with the what if, but you can't just linger on that for too long because it could become very unhealthy. Background has such a special place in my heart with that because it explores those deep feelings and what if scenarios, but at the end of the day it all counts to this is over that, and I'm just an afterthought in your mind now, and that breaks my heart. To me today, the final song on the album feels like the reconciliation of all of this, finally turning to yourself and giving yourself the love and care to heal and move on. After all this grief of heartbreak, loss of losing yourself to what could have been, and how this all ended, to start to live and to love yourself again takes a huge step, but it takes one that is so important, and it's incredibly cathartic and freeing. Echo as an album takes so many emotional turns, but they all lead to the incredibly complex human experience, but also concludes with just simply loving yourself. Despite everything, it's still you, and there's something comforting and simply human about that. When I think Stray Kids couldn't get any better, they just do. Karma, as I said in the comeback video, is Stray Kids at their most fully realised and confident. There was something about this entire era that really made Stray Kids feel like a fully mature group now. I mean, they are 7 years old, meaning I've been a fan of them for over 7 years, fucking hell. But the music and performance and the attitude from this era just feels so at ease. I really think this is them truly honing in the fact that they are one of the biggest groups right now, yet they still have this aura and essence that makes Stray Kids so good, and the added self-assurance and confidence makes this album absolutely amazing. Bleep is a great opener, just a whole lot of fun, playing with different sounds and structures, but it has a certain energy to it, getting you ready to gear up for the crazy ride of this album that makes it so much fun. Ceremony is so perfectly produced. Again, it has that Stray Kids style that you either love or do not like at all, but it works for me so well. I love this production, how the beats hit at the right time to highlight the lyrics, and how the lyrics work sonically with the song as well. Of course, the melodies in the song are on point, and Ceremony represents the true victory tour Stray Kids was having after their amazing year. I like Creed's more seemingly simple presence at first, but digging in deeper, you really appreciate how it works with the members' verses so well, and the real power behind it. It appreciates the team and how the members have had each other's backs no matter what. I do like the slight Hyper Maximus style and glam rock aesthetic, and the influence from the rock and hip-hop crossover from the 90s as well. Mess and In My Head take a more vulnerable approach in this album, from the first 3 confident anthems to the more emotionally charged songs about struggling with doubts, mental health, and how it takes a toll. Mess reminds me of a deep cut from Stray Kids' earlier days like Hero Soup or MIA, and I just love how it sounds. The auto-tune makes the voices sound a bit blurry, like they're trying to figure things out, but the mess in their heads and life make it harder to do so. In My Head is a kind of inverse to Mess in a way, a little bit more upbeat. It has that pop rock vibe from the early 2000s. I'm thinking like One Direction, Take Me Home era, and feels like it's talking to Mess as a response, talking them out of a spiral and to not be stuck with your head thoughts like that. Then we get to the run of songs on this album. Halftime, Phoenix, Ghost, and 0801. They are the best of the best of Stray Kids. Halftime is pure hype, the kind of marimba sound at the start, the chanting throughout is pure confidence and splendour, and perfect to perform at halftime show as well. It just has that absolute epic energy you would find at a stadium. Phoenix is just pure party. I love the techno and electro pop influence. It reminds me of early 2000s songs like Don't Worry Child with that EDM drop and that freedom and joy it produces as well. Like the phoenix rising from the ashes, I'll continue to fight no matter the hardships. Ghost is in the classic line of Stray Kids songs that sound so cool and fun, but the lyrics are absolutely devastating. Feeling unseen and alone for so long because you are just so stuck in your head with all the burdening thoughts that you just feel like a shell of yourself. Endless rain, I'm still in pain, I just want to feel the sunlight to fill my empty space, but I just don't know what to say. These words are heartbreaking and feel so defeated. The weight of everything is crushing down any sort of will to live or thrive, that you just feel no different to a ghost. I love how the chorus plays out, the melody makes it sound desperate, a true cry for help, but nothing gets done. 0801 is the fan song of the album. After all the turmoil of Ghost and struggles talked in songs like Phoenix, Mess, and In My Head, 0801 feels like a warm and healing hug and is a beautiful way to end the album. Yes, I know there's a festival remix and English versions of Ceremony, but they're fun songs on the end rather than being the entire journey on the album. But they're still fun. Karma is just such an amazing album. The more I listen to it, the more I appreciate it, and it really is the best of the best for Stray Kids. We're at this point now where these albums are just getting so good that I don't really know what to say anymore. But all I do know is that Showbiz Baby by Jade is a revolutionary album for the ages and probably one of the defining pop records this decade. This journey started a bit ago in 2024 when lead single Angel of My Dreams dropped, a modern pop bohemian rhapsody rattling the cages of stardom by calling out the toxic and unhealthy practices of the music industry and how it will always cut its artists down. Also grappling the fact that her dreams and visions of stardom she had as a child has been destroyed due to being subjected to these awful practices of the music industry, but also still yearning for that stardom, for that success, loving some parts of it, and that conflicting relationship. Its music video and the performances are just pure art and truly set the stage for what the rest of this album has in store. There's so much conflict, it doesn't hold back, and it's true to itself, and Jade has power in every word. Angel of My Dreams is the perfect setup and introduction for that Showbiz Baby, and it gets even better from here. It Girl takes the snarkiness from Angel of My Dreams and revs it up to 100, being aggressively confident in itself as Jade should be. Fuck You For Now takes another direction. It's more emotionally driven, being angry and grief-stricken at someone who did you wrong. The melody is what stands out to me here. It feels so emotional and scorned. It builds up to a burst of anger and wrong feelings and just revenge bubbling under as well. Plastic Box goes full on romance as you fall in love with someone and feel so overly protective of that love. You want to keep it and cherish it forever, keeping it in a pretty box, safe and neat, on your shelf to look after, somewhere no one else can get to it. I love the production of the song. The fast pace but also warm tones makes this song even more romantic. Midnight Cowboy and Fantasy follow, being the second and third singles actually released in 2024 before the album, and again they do a really good job at capturing what this album is about but also standing on their own as great songs. Midnight Cowboy is full of confidence but also kind of more on the chill side. You know, this song knows its power and owns it. It has an opening little monologue by the Doctor himself, Shooty Gatwa, my doctor forever. I love him so much. And Fantasy is a complete disco heaven, sexy and full of passion, asking about your lover's passions and desires and wanting to fulfill them so you reach a full understanding of each other. Jade's voice here is so beautiful. Unconditional is so dreamy. I love the opening so much and how it hooks you right away. Its techno sound with Jade's dreamy voice tells a story about her love being unconditional and never ending, but because it's the only way she can survive, it's addicting and emotionally charged, and it's just so good. The deeper we get into the album, the more vulnerable and open it gets, as Jade talks about being scared in love but also terrified of losing it, opening up about her perceived flaws, self-saboteur, headache, lip service and natural disaster all explore these kind of themes. Self-saboteur talks about how despite feeling like a fuck up all the time, they are still able to be loved. Natural disaster is the clusterfuck of emotions that feel like a natural disaster, as mentioned, feeling helpless or things are crumbling down around you. The production on this song in particular feels so magical and poignant with how it uses the pauses and dramatic moments like a real storm is happening. Glitch is another song that really stuck in my mind, talking about the self-doubt and spiraling moments in your head, and I love how it plays with glitches in the song itself. Before You Break My Heart and Silent Disco are also great ways to end the album. Before You Break My Heart samples the song The Supreme sang and is also a recording from Jade when she sang the song when she was younger. It clearly has so much personal and emotional attachment to it. It's such a heartfelt song that is incredibly personal and you really feel that throughout. I love the production on this song as well. Silent Disco is a beautiful letter to a partner, saying how he calms her down and knows exactly what she needs in that moment, and how their love together can only be understood and felt like them, like a silent disco where they're dancing to the music that no one else can hear. And it gets even better with the deluxe version. Oh yeah, we are talking about Encore. Church has one of my favourite drops of the year. It's heavenly with the progression. Won't you pray for me like I'll pray for you? This worship and love in a relationship goes both ways. Other favourites for me on the deluxe version is Use Me. That production is hypnotic. If My Heart Was a House, a great electro dance sound, and Dream Tutor, one of the prettiest songs I've heard as well. That talks about dreams and how it affects the mind. Does it cross the threshold of being real if certain things are explored, or are dreams an okay space to cross this line? All the other songs on Deluxe are also really, really good, and it's amazing that we have an album this polished and clean, but also incredibly personal and experimental and not holding back. That Showbiz Baby is the pinnacle of what pop can be in this current day. It will be a defining pop album of this decade. Jade is a talent for the ages, and I cannot praise her enough. Yeah, this is a generational run by NMIX, with their FE 304 series really putting them out there, especially with how loved Forward was earlier this year. Blue Valentine being their first full album release was either going to set them apart completely or just be another K-pop album release that year. And luckily for all of us, we've got one of the best K-pop albums ever to be released. To say this entire album is good is an understatement. This album is just absolutely beyond anything else. The production of these songs are immaculate, and it goes its own way with its own sound, structure and overall feeling, and I do believe that Blue Valentine is their best work to date. The main track, named after the album, Blue Valentine, is emotionally potent and explores the crushing feeling of knowing this love has died. I love the electro-pop sound of the song, and I love how it uses layers and depth so well, pulling back during more quieter moments to help build up to the bursts of intense emotion. I've already talked about how much I love the song in my comeback video, and Blue Valentine is really just so special. Spinning on It was a brilliant pre-release single with a grungy rock sound, almost the antithesis of Blue Valentine, feeling anger of heartbreak and wanting to be done with it forever. The guitar throughout the song symbolises this personal anger that feels like it's never going to go away and makes it such a brilliant song. These two songs really set up the album and how it explores the different stages of love and how all of them are valid points to be at. Phoenix is one of the classic hype songs NMIX do so well. I will always love the rise from the ashes like a phoenix metaphor. Reality Hurts is an electro-pop dream, taking control of reality and bending it to your will, going mad with power and provoking others at Reality Hurt Babes is just brilliant. This energy and character of the song is unmatched and completely just ticks off what I love. Rico's Latin pop influence is such a fun time and a great detour from the very emotional heavy album so far, just to a song that you can have a joyous time with and just celebrate. The beat on this one is infectious, but also does carry the confidence the rest of the album holds. Podium is the anthem of this album, full of confidence and trust in oneself. There is no one stopping me, you cannot hold me down, I'm the number one on this podium. The build up in the song is so good, and the ending chorus is explosive and just gets you so hyped. Game Face is a really sweet song as well. It has this underlying confidence, but more explores the happiness and peace at knowing yourself and being comfortable with it. The Game Face in question is the confidence one portrays when facing adversities and still continuing in life. Crush on You, Adore You and Shape of Love go back to focusing on love specifically, but ending it on a note where a new love is brewing. Crush on You perfectly captures those butterfly feelings of falling in love with someone and developing a crush. I love the swing and beats in this. It's so clean, but it has those subtle and deep feelings of what having a crush feels like. Adore You takes a more slow pop rock route, fully pouring out these new feelings of love as the bass soars, and Shape of Love ends this journey by being fully encapsulated in this new love, adoring and appreciating its new place in your life and enjoying all the new things that comes along with it. Love is such a complex thing with so many sides to it that can cause all the different feelings as explored in this album, but when it's right, and I love how these last three songs allow the person to be healed again and to feel love again. Blue Valentine really does take us on a journey from acceptance of the love being over, anger and pain over heartbreak, to the next steps of rebuilding yourself as a person to rise from the ashes and completely love yourself again, and to build that confidence and portray yourself proudly to the world, learning to have fun again and that you have control of your own life if you will it, to falling in love again with this new person, with these new lessons, and still letting yourself fall. Having that trust in yourself and that love for who you are is the most important takeaway from this album. And on top of this perfect production and sound of this album with its melodies, its structures and all the different genres, Blue Valentine by NMIX is an album for the ages. Right, this is going to be a long one, so buckle the fuck up. Right from when this album came out, I knew that this would be my favourite album of the year, and also the album that would define 2025 the most for me personally and really came to me at the best possible time in my life. Don't Tell the Dog by James Marriott is one of the defining albums of my adulthood so far. Never has an album come to me in such an important and right time in my life, where everything it was about were exactly what I needed to speak to me. Don't Tell the Dog is an indie rock powerhouse of an album about going through the motions of growing up, life experiences, and the breakdown of a relationship, and the moments in life making you realise how you are completely different and how you are a new person despite all the challenges. The title itself, Don't Tell the Dog, is talking about the childhood pet and when it's their time to go, and you keep them happy so you don't have to tell them what's about to happen. A childhood pet dying is for many people the first death they experience, and this pet that you are guaranteed to see every day of your life, they are part of your household, your living, how you move through life every day. For them to be suddenly not there one day and it being the first death one experiences, it's a moment that never leaves you and realistically shapes you as a person for the rest of your life. Also, for many, the death of the childhood pets symbolises the moment that the facade of childhood starts to crumble, and that feeling of existential dread and the consciousness of life starts to appear. These sentiments and feelings are what I feel is explored in this album and what spoke to me the most. Ventriloquist is a haunting opening number. The single piano synths playing on its own like a heartbeat at the start. The song talks about things that couldn't be and moments that make you feel uncomfortable, that bring back memories, a stranger behind you, when clothes don't fit right, things you cannot see and moments best forgotten, and ended with a hauntingly beautiful strings as James serenade, I'll make this walk look easy, with a whisper like for you to end the song. It feels like one last cry from places of emptiness and confusion, looking for answers, trying to make everything look and feel alright and that it makes sense in face of adversities and pain. Ventriloquist sets up these questions of what is going on, what am I feeling right now, what can I grab onto, what does this mean for me? It's an intro that gets the job done. Something's Wrong is one of the most catchiest songs of the year. It has a confident presence, a little hint of a smirk that is shown with its incredible production and instrumentation. The melodies throughout and what lyrics James pairs it with is why the song is so addictive. The verses, chorus and post-chorus all hook you in, and no doubt the music video is stunning too. But it's also the feeling of constant dread and anxiety that persists throughout the song that also makes it stand out. The repetition of does it feel like something's wrong, does it feel like something's off, is sung in a teasing melody, but there's also a level of fear in this singing as well. There is a facade of confidence in this song that feels like it has to protect itself at all costs or it will all come crumbling down. But due to this clear mask, the pursuit of love cannot happen. Something's Wrong production and structure is what I love as well. The build up in the verses into the chorus and the longing of the post-chorus with the final chorus just amping it up, it is really one of the best on the album. Plasticine is one of the more upbeat songs on this album, talking about how we're all moldable and changed by experiences and how we project these changing imagery onto others as well. We're all plasticine seems like a form of acceptance, knowing that we as humans change all the time by big and small experiences. Times may be confusing, and these changing times and transitions through life may make you feel unrecognisable, and the self you know is slipping away before you know it. We're moldable like plasticine, and that perhaps gives some comfort as well. It's Only Love was one of the pre-release singles before the album came out, and one of the most warm songs, even though it's full of heartbreak. The simple drum beat and warm bass guide through a tale of not feeling in love anymore and seeing this relationship crumble before you. The end of something that's in the moment felt so important, but when you look back on it, it was just another love that happened and was just another part of life. James's voice is absolutely beautiful in this. Not only is he such a talented songwriter, but his voice is really amazing, and you can really tell how much he has grown since Are We There Yet? It's so soft and emotional on this track, but you can feel the daunting feeling of knowing something's over underneath it. The title itself, It's Only Love, speaks for itself. The word only reduces the weight of what this love actually meant. This was only just another relationship, another love just to put on the pile that will be replaced by another. I also love how the instrumental at the end just keeps playing as if there's nothing more to say, but that feeling of loss and heartbreak still lingers. Food Poisoning talks about a relationship drifting apart, but this time with a more upbeat tune. There seems to be a more of an acceptance and joy at knowing this isn't working. Words like bad decision, warns, wrong direction punctures the chorus, echoing in the head of a listener that this relationship is a bad idea and not working. The bridge is beautiful as it feels like the true revelations of the song. Darling, I've never felt so incomplete. Why don't we move along mutually? Could you tell me when we're ready to leave? The food poisoning is just feeling sick at trying to make this work, and the acceptance of just wanting to keep it mutual and end it there. Toothache was the second pre-release single for the album and is a vocal powerhouse. The toothache in question seems to be the memory or person they cling on to. I love the final chorus so much, the screamings of and she cries her heart out over and over again. This overlap and conflict of minds is what makes Toothache so interesting to me, on top of how really good it sounds. And I Don't Want to Live Like This was the first pre-release single for this album, a cynical song with an upbeat melody talking about how the cyclical nature of feeling down and worthless all the time. The lyrics, if I jump too high I'll fall right back through the floor, this building might be decaying to the core, you wanted more and you got me, I'm sorry. Any mask of confidence or knowing is now shattered, and they are coming to terms with the flaws and mistakes they made during this relationship. Instead of moving forward, you internalize these negative feelings and don't let yourself move on, even though you know this cycle is unhealthy and you don't want to say it. You don't want to live like this anymore. How Could I Say No is ethereal, but also bittersweet. I love the 1-2-3 style waltz count. It feels like the final dance. There's been this back and forth on wanting this relationship to end, feeling like it will end, the love is not being reciprocated and you just want to replace it with something new. The haunting echoes of don't stick around, I'll only let you down at the end of the song repeat like a warning in the other's brain. You want them to stay away because you don't want to hurt themselves nor yourself. This final dance is one last chance to end this relationship, this chapter of your life before things go completely wrong, for there to be something good left over. How could I say no? Comments on the emptiness one feels letting go of so much and trying to find replacements to fill the void whilst you change. Pillow Fight feels like letting everything go and being self-destructive. You are projecting your feelings onto someone else you believe is also going through the same issues, but realistically you're just trying to find an outlet in someone else to stop thinking about everything. The fact that the chorus is just this one soft cacophony of repeating R's feels like a cry for help. This is the breaking point. There is no point hiding anymore. The electric guitar in the background of the song seems to guide this anger and pain into the chorus. Lyrics like, I don't want to fight but I can't rest in my thoughts, I don't want to be here anymore, and your eyes can kill me with the softest of changes, the soft hint of distaste. There's no pretending there's nothing bad going on, just ignoring it is destructive for both parties. These changes, this transition going from one person to another. Pillow Fight is often associated with a soft and silly play style, but really this one is about a constant battle in your head as you lay down a never-ending restlessness. Why Don't You Kill Me has such a great melody. It feels rather freeing and conclusive in the middle of such a heavy and emotional part of the album. Why Don't You Kill Me feels the most direct song of them all. This song is James basically asking the other party to kill him and end the relationship, as he clearly doesn't have the strength or will to do it himself. Despite the turmoil and hardship this relationship put him through, it still meant something to him at the end of the day and moulded parts of him into who he is today, and he just doesn't have it in him to let it go. The lyrics, for a moment I started to miss you, when you came back I felt a reprieve. A reprieve basically means when someone's death is delayed, so even if James starts missing the relationship when it comes back, he still knows it's not worth it. It needs to end. The other lyrics, I couldn't decide to leave your side if it killed me, so why don't you kill me? The person who we met at the start of this album has kept spiraling due to all the change and clinging to any sort of relationship that they sound like a shell of their former self. They have no strength, no agency. Please kill this relationship off so I can figure out myself. And then we have Limbs. After all this time, it was always going to be Limbs. The first time I heard the song, I sobbed my eyes out. The meaning behind this, what it is about, and what it has meant to me is something I'll cherish forever. Limbs seems to be the result of a broken mess of a human after relationship is fully over. The pieces of you are strewn everywhere. There is no semblance of who you are anymore, as you put so much of yourself into one thing like a lifeline. After all this change, these transitions feel like it amounted to nothing. Who am I without what I've ever known my entire life, without everything that was around me since I've ever known? Who am I without that safety blanket of life that most would get as a child? How can I navigate the world now as an adult, where everything I knew about myself is in pieces everywhere around me, and I don't know what to pick up first and put in a new place? The lyrics, I rearrange all the limbs I have, place me in boxes, wrap me by hands. These limbs, these body parts are now unrecognizable. Some sort of metamorphosis has taken place during this tumultuous time with these relationships and evolution from one part of a life to another, that you don't even know these parts anymore. These old parts of you, of something living in a blissful ignorance, sheltered from the world, where you would wake up every day to see the family you thought you would always live with and be there. The toys, the items, the trinkets that would be there forever. The smells and sights that would make you feel at home. Sounds that would make you feel safe and loved. The family pet who would always be kind to you and give you comfort and unconditional love no matter what. That person, those parts, and all those times are now gone, all scattered around you. Those experiences and that time of life will never happen again, and you now feel like a shell of a former human being that doesn't exist anymore. We're all plasticine, moulding into different people at different stages of our life. We're all different people, even in one life, but when we try to stop the process or ignore it due to us losing that comfort, it's hard to really know what point of life we're at. The end of childhood, knowing that part of life can never be relived again, is a prospect that hits hard and definitely came into fruition for me in 2025. I just finished my undergraduate course at uni. I finally felt like a fully fleshed out human adult for the first time in my life, and felt full agency and understanding I never thought I could reach. And the path in my life from now on will forever only be determined by me. And that may seem good at first, but it really felt like I needed some sort of stability, and that this would be my last holiday at this holiday cottage that me and my family have been staying in since before I was even born. This cottage that we went to every year on holiday, this felt like a constant throughout my life, that even through all the changes, all the adversities, it was always there. And now it's not. To many this may seem like a trivial thing, but to me it was a point in my life when I realised my childhood was over and there was no going back to it. And whilst it was a very sad realisation, there was also a cathartic moment to have that resolution and acceptance. And Limbs was, for me, that song that helped me through this process. This whole album did, and it was a hard realisation, but it was also something I'm glad I noticed, and I could process that and really think about and live with it as well, instead of ignoring it. As the song ends, a drawn out string calls to the void. James says himself that this was to emulate the final howl from the dog, the family pet that would be the first strike of the end and the start of change. The dog on this album refers to James's own family dog when he was younger, called Jasper, and how the death of Jasper affected him afterwards. And I think this album is incredibly successful in getting that message across, and it was an incredible healing journey for me in that sense. I don't think any other album has really caught me like this at this time in my life, when I really did need it the most. Change is fucking scary. Seeing yourself being affected and influenced by so many different experiences as you transition from childhood to teenagehood to young adulthood to a full-on adult is scary, and it's very easy to lose yourself in this madness when there is so much going on and you are made to make so many important decisions about your life in such a small space of time. Of course you would feel like a shell of a human at the end of it, rearranging these limbs, picking up parts of myself I don't recognise anymore to create some sort of semblance of a person you think you would know. Maybe it will be the start of something new, at least. On top of its amazing storytelling through its lyrics and themes, Don't Tell the Dog is a musical feat with stunning melodies, a truly masterful vocal performance by James Marriott as well. Production on these songs are perfect. There is not one song that is amiss or is less than the others. It's truly the best of the year for me, and one of the most important albums to me of all time. Well, that was a lot. I don't know how much of this will get in there with how long it is, but all these albums deserve to be talked about, and I love talking about them, and I like talking about what they meant to me, and I hope that there'll be new albums on here that you wouldn't have listened to that you now want to listen to, that'd be great. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a long one and I know I talked about a lot, but I appreciate you sticking around and being here. Let me know what your favourite albums of 2025 were. Don't forget to share and donate to the links in the description, and please share and subscribe if you want to. That'd be really, really great. Any support is very appreciated, and thank you so much again for watching.